What does this Persian guy from the 11th century have in common with this guy, or more recently, this guy? Well, their fundamental connection is that they were all assassins. But where does the term assassin come from? What does it mean? Well, it all goes back to that guy. Let me explain. Hasan-i Sabbah, also known as Hasan I of Alamut, was born in 1050 in Qom, Iran, to a family that adhered to the branch of Shia Islam known as the Twelvers, which happens to be the most dominant branch of Islam in Iran even to this day. However, as a young man, Hasan was drawn to the teachings of the Ismailis, another branch of Shia Islam known for their esoteric teaching and a different line of spiritual succession in the Islamic faith. His intellectual power and deep understanding of mathematics, geometry, astronomy, and epistemology quickly earned him a reputation as a formidable scholar. Hasan-i Sabbah's rise within the Ismailis community was remarkable. His most significant achievement was the relatively peaceful capture of the Alamut fortress. This feat solidified his position as a leader of the Ismaili community and the mastermind behind the Nizari Ismaili state. Hasan's approach to seizing Alamut was nothing short of brilliant. Over time, he began converting the local population to his cause, to the Ismailis, and even persuaded the guards of the fortress to his cause. His methodical and calculated approach ensured that when it came time to take control of the fortress, he encountered relatively no resistance. For the next 200 years, this fortress Alamut, served as both the spiritual and strategic center from which Hasan and his successors would direct their followers to strike fear into their adversaries. Hasan and his successors after him were known and feared in the West as the Old Man of the Mountain. Hasan himself became a recluse after taking control of Alamut. For the remaining 45 years of his life, he rarely left the fortress. In fact, he rarely left his room. Only a handful of times would he ascend to the top of the fortress to see the sky. He immersed himself in reading and writing and the careful administration of the Nizari Ismaili state. However, his influence extended far beyond the walls of Alamut. Through his writings and his governance, he continued to shape the destiny of his people and ensured that the Nizari Ismailis remained a force to be reckoned with in the region. You see, Hasan gathered around him a group of fanatical devotees who would follow faithfully Hasan's every command in order to further the Ismaili faith. They were called the Fedayeen, which is plural of fidei, which means sacrifice. The Fedayeen were followers willing to sacrifice themselves for their God without question. Absolute, unquestioning loyalty. They were the devoted ones. If you told them to jump off a bridge, they would do it. Another thing that they were trained to do without hesitation was to murder political or religious rival figures, even in the most public of spaces. Anyone the Old Man of the Mountain wanted dead, they would be dead. If one trained killer failed in his mission by either being killed or captured, another killer would be sent, and another, until the order was fulfilled. Legend has it that in order to reduce any inhibition in them, any latent fear before they went on their mission, they would consume large quantities of the drug hashish, and thus, high on this drug and promised paradise, they would become fearless killers. Hashish, or hash, is a more concentrated form of cannabis. It contains higher levels of THC, making it more potent than simple marijuana. The movie Prince of Persia did a great job depicting these group of killers, albeit with a lot of exaggeration and caricature. They were known in Arabic as the hashishin, or the hash eaters. Honestly, their consumption of hashish is often debated as just exaggeration, just kind of a slur against these people. Hashishin, to the European ear, made its way into the Latin assassinus, or assassin. Even though the assassin's connection to hashish is debated whether it's fact or not, it has for centuries been part of the legendary history of the Order of the Assassin. Now you're wise to the words. Say no to drugs. Say yes to subscribe.